Among every world, among every timeline, among everything you can imagine in different worlds, people are there to guide you. Guide you through stories, guide you through timelines. Welcome to the Blue Mask What If channel. Hello everybody, it's me, Blue Mask, and you're probably wondering what the fuck is Izuku doing with Breath of the Wild outfit from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Well, I have bought Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and holy shit, I have been addicted to this game. Like, I think I have 100 hours by now, and I bought it recently. That's how good I think this game is. And I love this game. It's amazing, as I have just said. But when I started to play this, I thought maybe there's a what if stories about Izuku. And there is a few. And I mean a few. So, but there's no video, there's not a lot of videos about this on YouTube. There's only two, plus a texting story, a texting story, and a reaction video about it. So 4 videos, 2 the same, 2 different genres. And I tried to search it online. What if Deku was the Link's reincarnation and all that shenanigans? I only found the one. Well, no, I found actually 2 what ifs I like about Deku being Link's reincarnation. And wait, no, there's also, yeah, I found 3 of them. 3 good what if Deku was Link's reincarnation, or the next hero of Hyrule. I have forgotten where I found the other one, but it's good. Ah, shit. I dropped the case. So, I have enjoyed reading those 3. But, shit, I hit the mic. But, stories on YouTube is, like I said, 4 videos. 2 of them you can't hear, and 2 of them that's pretty fucking good, but haven't continued in a hot minute. And there is 3 what ifs I like about it. Sorry about that, got an issue. But 3 what ifs I like on the internet, and I really enjoy them. But one of them has a relationship with Zelda, and the 2 of them doesn't. But it's still a good read. It's still good as hell. But here's an issue I have found of the other few I found. I think a lot of you understand my placement with the harem situation. There's a lot of fucking harem story about Izuku Midoriya and Naruto. I get Naruto, I'm fine with Naruto, by the way. I'm fine with Naruto harems, because in his world, it makes fully sense why he gets a harem. It makes a lot of sense why Naruto gets a harem. But Izuku Midoriya, I don't understand. Literally, sometimes I don't understand why there's a harem with Izuku Midoriya, because it just doesn't make sense. I won't go on a fucking talk about harems and why I don't like it with Izuku Midoriya. I really don't want to get into that, because I will go on for hours. But after that, I just thought, why the fuck am I not getting in on what if Deku was the reincarnation of Link? Or what if Deku was Link, as the character Link, but the next version of it. So I just thought, fuck it, why not? Can I not do what if Deku was the next hero of Hyrule? Oh my god, that's a good fucking title. I will call it that. So I will get into the story. This is just gonna be the cover because I will have a story about Izuku and the new world of Hyrule and everything. So this is what if Deku is the next hero. Well, next hero of Hyrule. What it? Yeah, it was. So please enjoy. So let's begin explaining how the world worked at first. So 1,000, or let's say 3,000 years after Tears of the Kingdom, where the myth of, Link and Zelda has gone down in myths and legend, or a full story of the recount of Link. You see, in this part of Hyrule's history now, there's a new race that popped up, called the human. The human has over time of these 3,000 years, stable themselves on another part of the world. They have populated and everything, and races from Sora and all the other races in Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom does like the humans at first. Until 200 years ago, before the story starts, quirks appeared. Powers that has originated from the blood of the other races, gaining the humans' powers, quirks. When the quirks first appeared, the human was terrified, but the other races that understood and understand this part of the thing taught the humans how to use power and how to regulate it. But the rest of the human that didn't get power gets terrified, and the whole part came with the heroes and villains rising. In present day, in where Izuku Midoriya is born, heroes is a good part of the lives now. But there's a thing about the blood of humans and the other races. You see, humans arrived from the blood of the other races combined. So, if a human marries a Hylian, there's 100% chance that the wife or husband, their children will always be 100% Hylian. 150% Hylian. 100% Hylian. But if they get children, there's a 50-50 chance of them being humans and Hylian. Those also goes for the other races. But if the child is born as a Hylian or the other races, those blood will say it's 100% a Hylian or the other races. But Hylian makes sense right now. So, kind of makes sense? Alright. But if that child also gets children, there's a 25 to 75% of them being a Hylian or human. But over the years, alright, that's the DNA part that explains about the races and the humans combining. So, over the 100 years, humans gets arrogant and say there is the superior race and try to do something stupid, but get beaten back by the other races, combining and, just fucking the humans up. Saying, this is fucked up, you are just your new race for 2,000 years ago. I said 3,000 years after the Tears of the Kingdom, and the story goes, but 2,000 years ago the humans arrived. The humans stayed in their country, not moving to Hyrule or any other countries. They stay in their small continent. If a human moved to Hyrule and everything and shows up their quirks, yeah, they're like, yeah, fuck it, you have power, we have magic. So that makes sense. So that's the world kind of explained. So here's a little story about Izuku Midoriya and how he is. You see, Izuku Midoriya is born by two humans, but his father, Hisashi Midoriya, is a half of a Hyrulean. His mother was a Hyrulean, but he... Well, no. His mother was... I forgot to say. If a person that is born of Hyrulean descent becomes a human, they can still pass on the Hylian blood. I forgot to say that. So, his father is born the third generation of his grandfather. His father, his mother was a Hylian, but a half Hylian, a Hylian with full blood, but his father was a full human. Izuku's father was a full human. When Izuku, and yes, I'm gonna include a twin sister, was born, it was noticed that Izuku was a Hylian because of his ears. Hylian is extinct, identified by the pointed ears they get. Izuku Midoriya was found out immediately that he was a Hylian, born in the world, his home country of Japan. When Izuku grew up, he was not in Japan a long time. His father had to move to Hyrule. Move to Hyrule to get work to send money back to Inko and Izumi. So when Hisashi had to move, Inko and him decided, Izuku doesn't actually belong here, so he can move with Hisashi to Hyrule so he can live with other Hylians. When Izuku grew up, he knows about his mother and sister and calls them over phone or Skype. It's a long time since I said that word. Skype, it still exists in this universe. He checks up on them and all that shenanigans, but he made a friend, a girl called Zelda. Yes, I'm gonna include this ship because fuck you. I'm not gonna include because I actually enjoyed Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. He made a friend called Zelda, a blonde-haired girl that is enjoyable to be around. He also made a Sora, I think that's the right pronouncement, a Sora friend, a female that he considered his second sister. I'm gonna call her Alyssa. Alyssa is a Sora of, 18 years old in Hylian years and human years, but I don't really know about the years of Sora. But I know they live long lives, but He made her as a friend and an older sister type. An older sister to him. She also feels that way, so it's a Izuku X Zelda, by the way. Him and Alyssa became friend. But he's a close friend to the girl named Zelda. Izuku never figured out where she comes from when he finally saw the king and the queen with their daughter, and he recognized Zelda. When they met up afterward, he saw that ride through the village that he lives in. He asked just straight up, "You're the princess," when they met up again. She confirmed that in the younger years. But Izuku and Zelda's friendship grew and grew after that. When Izuku was 10 years old, Zelda was proposed to go to Japan to a better school to get a education about the human countries. Zelda was nervous about this, but Izuku Midoriya said, "I can move back to where my mother and sister live, so we can be friends there. Hang out still." Zelda accepted this at a young age. So, by the way, if I didn't tell you, I'm gonna explain the backstory and some things that's gonna happen with Izuku's life. I'm not gonna detail the story yet. This is just the backstory. So, when the start off where I wanted to begin, that is the point of the story, and I will detail more. So, Izuku and Zelda moved to Japan to get more information about the human world or the human countries. Izuku moved with his mother and sister, and finally meeting them in person. Well, he moved when he was 1 year old, so he doesn't remember his mother or his sister at age 10. When he moved, he saw his sister and hugged her. He has a good relationship with his sister, but his sister's friend, Bakugo Katsuki, was an asshole immediately when the first time he met him. I forgot to explain Izuku's quirk. So, Izumi's quirk is telekinesis, stronger version of her mother, pyrokinesis, version of their father and mother's quirk combined. Powerful quirk, but Izumi always kept a noble path because of Izuku being a Hylian, but Izuku is good with a fucking sword. Don't go near him, he will cut your hand off. When Izuku, arrived and met Katsuki Bakugo and met how an asshole he was, he just straight up told her, why the hell are you friends with him? To his sister. When he met Bakugo first, getting Bakugo annoyed and his sister to kind of laugh. Bakugo is an asshole at first, but he became closer and closer friends with Izuku after some few months, and Izumi explaining his personality. Izumi kept Bakugo humble in this one. But a year later, Izumi was introduced by Zelda, and Bakugo and Izumi was introduced to Zelda, his close friend. They became friends, but not close. But an accident happened at age 11. A year has passed, and Izuku was kind of bullied at his school, but he was still considered normal because he said, I am a Hylian. I am born by human parents, but my father is a half Hylian. He still have Hylian blood. It gave it to me. I'm a fully Hylian. So, a year has passed since Izuku Midoriya arrived at his new school, Adelia Middle School. Right? Middle school? Or that's 3 years or 4. I don't know. I haven't gotten information about middle schools yet. So, a day when he walked out, he saw one of the main bullies bullying a girl. A girl with a weaker or a quirkless status. People doesn't ignore how quirkless is treated in this universe because there is Hylians, and Hylians just takes the quirkless person to Hyrule and other countries. Most quirkless persons move there. It's a huge percent. But the girl was bullied by this man, this boy. A boy with a, kind of knife quirk that could turn his hand into a knife or a blade if he wanted to. Isugu went over and pushed the guy away from the girl, saying that was enough. Standing in front of her with his arms spread. You see, this kid was not stable. He was told that he's gonna be hero by Aldera. And everything. The kid yelled at Isugu to get out of his fucking way. He's gonna teach this quirkless girl how to act. But Isugu yelled back to what the fuck was wrong with him. It's a human, it's his race. He should get more respect because there is people without power. Power is not everything in this world. Isugu yelled this fact back at him. But the kid got angrier and angrier more he listened to Isugu. Until he fucking snapped. In front of every teacher, some teachers, and a lot of students, and 2 pro heroes, by the way, that student cut Isugu's left arm off by his shoulder. Isugu didn't realize it was cut off. After 10 seconds, he noticed, and that fucking exploded. The kid was immediately arrested by the pro heroes. Eraserhead and Present Mike was arrested by these 2 heroes, and immediately Isugu was rushed to the hospital. But before the heroes could stop the kid, he cut his arm into pieces. There was nowhere and how to save Isugu's left arm. At that point on, Isugu lost his left arm, but Isugu kept fighting. When Zelda heard about this, oh boy, she got pissed and angered by this boy. So she asked a detective, after this incident, the students and the Aldera Middle School was investigated why this kid was even at the school at the beginning, and found out a lot of dirty secrets. That this middle school was completely letting this happen. The school was shut down and other schools was, tried to figure out. Let me just say the MLA is not a part of the story. Yeah, it was found out by the heroes that investigated this immediately. The MLA was considered a threat, so it got shut down. After this incident, Isugu had to learn how to not having his left arm. And Zelda, his best friend, wanted to do something about it. So, She started going into engineering and trying to build an arm for him. Izuku didn't let off his training though. He still took up a sword and fought. After 2 years of being there, Zelda decided to go back to Hyrule, and Izuku decided to move with her. At this point, Izuku is 13 years old. I said 2 years, and it was 11, so yeah, 13 years old. When Izuku moved back to Hyrule, Zelda introduced Izuku to an arm. A prosthetic arm that he put on was fixed to him. Well, no, not yet. That is not the point. So, Izuku moved back to Hyrule with Zelda a few months later, and this is where this story starts. We see in the castle town of Hyrule people walking around and having fun, celebrating and everything because they found the next hero of Hyrule. They found the next hero of Hyrule. Well, what they think it is. But we're not gonna focus on that. We see a green-haired boy walking down the street towards the castle. He had green hair and green eyes. His build was as a swordsman. He was wearing a green coat over his body, with brown pants and boots, and a black shirt inside of the coat. But one of his sleeves was empty. His left sleeve. This is Suzuki Midoriya, age 13. It's been a few months since he's moved back to Hyrule, and Zelda has moved back to Hyrule Castle. Izuku enjoyed his friend's company, and he is allowed to go into the Hyrule Castle. Go to the Hyrule Castle by the king. He did find out about relationship with Izuku and Zelda. Zelda's mother is alive, and also was happy about Zelda having a friend. Izuku walks up to the gate and towards the castle. The guards just says hello to him. The guard says hello to Izuku, and he kept walking up towards the castle and went inside. He sees decorating and everything. Izuku knew why. The so-called hero of Hyrule that has been discovered in the human world was an annoying piece of shit. Let me just say that. Izuku just shook his head and walked towards the stairwell, but running into the king of Hyrule. The king stood and looked at Izuku with a man beside him, his advisor, that we're not gonna name, it's just his advisor. Ah, Midoriya, it's good to see you again. It's good to see you again, sir. Ah, don't do that. Just call me by my name. Sir, I'm used to calling you sir, so I'm just gonna call you that. Ah, whatever. Zelda's in her room. She's building something, I don't know. Been in there for a couple of hours now. Can you please get her? It's about time we go to greet our new hero. Yeah, I should. Yeah, I can. But are you certain that he is the hero of Hyrule? I am certain. He does have the mark on his hand of courage. Yeah. Yeah, maybe true. But I don't know the specific of the story, of course. Of course, young man. Please. She's in her room. Of course, sir. Isugu walks forward and up the stairs, the king looking at him. He is a quite interesting young man. But we must go on with the preparations. Isugu walks up the stairs and scoffs at the hero of Hyrule stuff. Because before he lost his arm, he knew what he had on it. Isugu has something that no one else knew except Zelda. He looked at his right hand and looked at his right hand, where you can see a little bit of a mark on his hand. He knew that he was the true hero of Hyrule, but he didn't want it to take up that burden. Zelda knew about this, and she had the wisdom part of her power. Isugu was kind of in a melancholy mood because of his arm. He didn't thought he could be the hero of Hyrule after he lost it, but was content by it. He walked up to the room and knocked on the door. He hears, "Come in," and walks in, seeing his best friend, aka Crush, sitting on a table. She was a young girl around 13 years old. A little younger than Isugu, only by 2 weeks. She had blonde, short hair. She has a blonde, short hair with a braid in it. With a braid inside it. The girl turned back to the door and sees Isugu. "Isugu, you're here! Great! I just... Why are you here now? I thought you would come later." "I did, but I wanted to come to see you before the boy showed up. The other guy showed up." "Ah, yes, the hero of Hyrule. You feeling okay about that?" Isugu walked over to his friend. "Well, sorry about this. I just have to move my mic. Well, I don't feel great about that I was not considered, but no one asked, and I always kept the mark hidden. But I feel that something's gonna go wrong. I know that feeling as well. But get some sleep. But not get some sleep. I know about that. I have the same feeling. We can just lie down if you want to. Get your nervous out of there." "Fine. You do have a comfortable bed, though." Yeah, I do." Both of them walked over and lay down on the bed, just looking up at the silk that looks like the galaxy above them. Isugu looks up and just stares at the stars painting on the covers above the... I don't know what's that called, but it's a bed with 4 pillars and some cloth above it, and it looks like stars. You really do like stars, right?" "Yeah, I do. I really like them. It reminds me of someone that never gives up." Nothing at all. Of course. But what do you think's gonna happen? People, I think, do expect me to fall in love with this guy. But I don't think I'm gonna. People expect it because of the last legend of the hero and the princess. Of course. The hero of the wild. The story told that he was asleep 100 years after the failed sealing of the Calamity Ganon. Woke up and had to find out his memories. Going to the wild and figure out fighting styles and regaining all of his memories, but still having the awful scars of his past. Yeah. Yes. After he figured it out, he rushed towards the castle to save the princess that's been fighting the calamity for 100 years, sealing her, releasing her from her duty. 7 years after, the princess and the knight that protected her, or the hero of Hyrule, found the corpse of the Demon King, releasing him by accident. The princess falling down to the past, and the hero losing an arm, but it gets powers from the first ever king of Hyrule. Fighting and trying to find out where his princess went, the knight finds out that he's been tricked by the Demon King and led to the Hyrule Castle to be killed. The heroes and the Sage of the Stones plunge down to the depths of the darkness to fight the hero with the Demon King and his monsters. Defeating the Demon King that turned himself to a dragon, and releasing the princess for 100. Wait, how many years was it in the story? Well, anyways. Releasing the princess from her dragon form, she sealed her away to rebuild the legendary Master Sword. And after the defeat of the Demon King, the knight and the princess rebuild Hyrule and falls in love at that. And the noble line begins anew. You mean that story, right? Of course you know about that story. You're always interested in heroes. Of course I'm interested in the heroes. After that exclaim, both of them started to laugh and having fun with each other. They laughed for a few minutes before they calmed down and just looked up at, the cloth that looks like the sky. Both of them just stared at it, beside each other, and just laying down. Before anything else could happen, a knock came on the door and someone came in. It was Zelda's mom. Zelda's mom she looks like Zelda but a little older and had a red streak in her hair. When Zelda's mom walks in, both of them looks embarrassed as hell. But Zelda's mom just giggled. You two better get up. You two better get up from the bed. The so-called hero has come to the castle to the castle. You better get up and introduce yourself. Then that mean Nana, you can come with. It's fine that you come. People knows that you already comes to the castle. Sure, why not? Both of them goes up and goes to the door. Isugu stepping outside so she could get changed real quick to something else for what she was wearing. After that, she arrived out, having God, give me a minute. So, I decided to make her wear the Breath of the Wild princess outfit, that the royal princess dress, that you can probably tell what I mean. The princess dress that Zelda has on, she has on right now, and looking formal. Isuku, when he saw her in that looks, well, certainly surprised by it, but doesn't really mind it. He looks a little red on his cheeks. Sorry about that. But, anyways, when she came out of the room and shows off her dress, the formal dress she has on, both of them started to walk towards the throne room. Both of them were kind of iffy about the part of the so-called hero that has to arrive from the human land. But they ignored the feeling about it. Arriving at the throne room, Zelda sees her father and her mother sitting at the throne. She walks up to them and stands beside her mother. Isuku walks a little bit away towards a place. Towards a pillar a little bit away from the throne, but still can be seen if you look carefully. After 2 minutes, the throne room door opens to show 3 people or 4 people walk in. The first person that Isugu sees is a young man of him and Zelda's age, with blonde hair slicked back and an arrogant face on him. For what he understood, his name was Monoma. Yes, that one, if you don't get it. His name was Monoma. An arrogant kid that what he understood that people doesn't like, but has the mark of the heroes on his hand. But not the true one, as he understood, as he knows. The man behind him was also arrogant, with an arrogant smile and a really nice suit on him. So does his son. The mother that came in is kind of what Isuku will say obedient to her husband. Daughter is the same, but I won't describe them because it's kind of not the point. All 4 of them walked into the throne room and bowed before the king. Ah, greetings, the Monoma family. I've heard that your son is the holder of the Triforce. The man arrogantly says, in an arrogant tone, yes, my son, the hero of Hyrule, has come to, offer help. Come and get his reward. come and get what he's owed by the Triforce. The king didn't like the attitude the man spewed out, but he minded for now. Very well. But first you must be tired from the flight over here. Yes, we truly do. There is room on the other side. There are some rooms in the castle that you may take. A room above. But please don't explore outside of your room. Guards will follow you if you do. We still don't trust if it's true. I assure you, my son is the true hero of Hyrule. Well, the next one. The king nods, but still enforced the rule. But Izuku noticed that Monoma's look to Zelda sorry, my parents has something to play in the background and I can't concentrate. A little bit better. Izuku noticed the look that Monoma gave to Zelda of lust. What he doesn't like. After the ceremony and the Monoma family was escorted to their temporary room, Izuku walked over to Zelda. When the Monoma family left, Monoma noticed Izuku walking over to Zelda. What Izuku saw when he looked, both of them locked eyes, was anger in Monoma's. But Izuku had this calmness about it. Izuku stood near Zelda after Monoma family left, and the king walks off his throne and goes with his queen. I really, really don't like that kid. Really? And why is that? That look he gave you of lust irks me. You are, true about that look that he gave me. But truly, I don't think he will do anything. Do you think your father might be staying here for the night? Do you think your father might me staying here at the night in your room? I just want to be safe. Of course, he does trust you a lot. We should ask your father then. When both of them walks down the corridor, they see the king talking to the Monoma, men. When the king noticed, both of them walking up, he said, Zelda, my dear daughter. You probably, this, like I said, is the new hero of Hyrule, if that may be the chance. It's a pleasant to meet you, princess. Monoma grabbed Zelda's hand and about to kiss it when she pulled the hand away. It's a pleasure. It's a greetings to you as well, Monoma-san. Please don't touch my hand. And who might that young man standing behind her be? Monoma's father spoke up. This is one of Zelda's greatest friend. He is around the castle sometimes, helping Zelda, getting her studies done. Yes, he is. And a pseudo bodyguard for me as well. Pseudo sort of bodyguard. Izuku just stayed quiet, not talking to Monoma. He's kind of the quiet type, isn't he? Yes, he is quiet, but he is a good friend to me. And he is a skilled swordsman. Ah, yes. Ah, a skilled swordsman. But it looks like you lost an arm there. Izuku lost his arms a few years ago when he saved a girl. When a psycho kid attacked him. Ah, I see. May he... What's his quirk then? Izuku is a Hylian, and Hylians, like you know, doesn't have quirks. But he is a skilled swordsman without a second arm. I see. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Princess Zelda. We may have a talk in the future a little more. I think we are not gonna have a pleasant talk. I ideally think it should be limited. Now, Father, can Izuku stay over? Can Izuku be here for a little while? Yes, it's fine with me. He knows the rules. Yes, he understands the rules. Now, let's go. I really wanted to do something. Izuku nods and follows Zelda out. Izuku followed Zelda to her room, but glanced at Monoma and giving him, "If you try to fucking do anything, I will make you so you don't have arms." And just walks with Zelda. He is an unpleasant boy, isn't he? No. Izuku doesn't like newcomers a lot. When I first met him, he didn't talk for a year before he even spoke a word to me. He's a kind boy and a brave one at that. But don't anger him. He can probably cut your arm off if you tie anything to his friend. To his friends. I see. Anyways, if that's all, you should better go to your room. It's getting late. Of course, King Hyrule. Of course, King. Both father and son left to the other side of the hallway. King stood there and looked at them. I know. And just stared at them. Sorry if I go silent because I kind of do my own stories in my head, so I kind of go silent sometimes for newcomers. For newcomers that didn't know. The king stared at Monoma, knowing that he could not or never be the hero of Hyrule. Because one thing he knows that only Zelda, but he doesn't know that Zelda knew that no one except Hylians can get the mark. No one of the human race can get the mark. Oh, god damn it. Sorry, loud noises again. When Izuku and Zelda arrived to the room, they put out a bed in front of Zelda's, a futon in front of Zelda's bed. Isugu calls his father saying that he's staying over with Zelda at the castle. His father knows the protectiveness that Isugu's protectiveness of Zelda. He agrees, just saying, "Alright, be safe. Don't cause trouble." After some few hours of Zelda tinkering, Isugu prods her to go to bed. She changed into nightwear and lay on the bed, falling asleep after some few minutes of talking to Isugu. But Isugu staying awake through the whole night. Isugu could actually go without sleep for a couple of days. It's a skill that he learned from a skill that he taught himself to do. After, in the middle of night, he hears footsteps at the door, and someone trying to open the door, but Isugu locked it. He heard a cursing but recognized the voice. Isugu stood up and grabbed the sword that he had beside him, walking towards the door and opened it, seeing Monoma outside. Monoma sees him and steps away a little bit. Isugu went out to the hallway and closes the door and locks it, having one of the keys to Zelda's room. Isugu just stared down Monoma, just conveying, if you were thinking what I think you were doing, you're in fucking danger. Monoma, with his arrogant tone, asked, "What are you doing to the princess in there?" Isugu spoke up. "Me and Zelda has been friends for many, many years. Her parents doesn't mind that I sleep in her room. And like she said, I am like a bodyguard for her. So if you don't mind going away from the door before I cut both of your weak arms off, you better give me the keys you stole." Monoma was surprised by this, but said in an arrogant tone, "I am the new hero of Hyrule." Isugu immediately pulled the swords off his back and pointed at Monoma's neck. "You are not, and never will, be the hero of Hyrule, because you don't have the Triforce. I know this, because I have a piece of it." Monoma gets scared, hearing that Isugu has a part of the Triforce, the power of courage he doesn't know. If you have the part of the Triforce, it better be the part that's power, not courage. Because if you do have the one with courage, I know it's a fake one. Monoma stiffs at the wall when Isugu points the sword right at his head. "Now, give me the key, or you will not survive this night." Monoma immediately pulls out the key, and Isugu taking immediately his hands off the sword and grabs it and pulls the sword out of the wall and puts it behind his back, walks towards the door, but still has his senses out, opens the door and locks it when he got into the room. He hears Monoma's footsteps running away from the door. Isugu looks at the bed, but Zelda is still fast asleep. He sits down at the front of the bed, looking at the door. spending hours and hours just looking and being prepared. But nothing happened afterwards. The morning arrived and Zelda awoke. Zelda woke up. Isuku explained what happened that night. What Monoma tried to do with the key he stole and tried to get into her room. She was shocked and wanted to inform his father, but Isugu stopped her. When he thinks back about it, it was not what he thought at the beginning. If they did all of this just to get to Zelda, then there must be a reason why. They needed more information and more things to realize it. But he thinks it has to do with the Triforce. Why would they sneak in if the Triforce is fake? Why would they sneak in and try to go to Zelda? Zelda stopped and thought about it. Sorry, I have an ice cream. Zelda thought about it and came up with a theory. They were not after Zelda herself, but the Triforce of Wisdom. Isugu thinks that is a relevant point. A knock at the door sounded and Zelda's mom came in, informing Zelda that she has to dress up into her traveling clothes. Because she and the new hero of Hyrule is going into the Korok Forest to pull out the Master Sword. Isugu asks if he can come, if he can be an extra protection, if something may go wrong. Zelda's mother thought about it, but says no afterwards, that was not possible. Isugu just nodded and stepped outside, waiting for Zelda. When Zelda arrived outside, she had some brown boots, black pants, and a green shirt where her at the end of her sleeve it's kind of pointing down a little bit, but not much to look at. You can see the inventor shirt she has on underneath that, outer layer of her shirt, her jacket. A green hoodie is on Zelda's shoulder. She has a green leaf in her hair that she has set up into a braid. Izuku looked at her regular outfit. She goes with him out to explore Hyrule, researching and just finding out how much they can. Izuku nods, saying that she looks perfect, like always, making her a little bit blushing. Isugu walks behind Zelda when she gets to the throne room. She stands in front of the throne with Monoma beside her. Monoma looked at her and Isugu sees the look again, the same look that he gave to Zelda when he left the throne room, but he can recognize it up close. It's not a perverted look, it's the greed, it's power that Monoma wants, confirming that, they may be after the Triforce. Izuku kneels in front of the king and queen, and but the rest doesn't. Izuku does it for respect, and Zelda does it because doesn't. Izuku kneels because he is not of the royal family or someone important. He does it just towards respect. Zelda doesn't bow because she's the princess. Monoma because hero of Hyrule, the new one. And Monoma family just doesn't do it. Annoying the king, but anyway spoke. The new hero of Hyrule. You and my daughter will go to Korak Forest. With me and the queen and some guards. And your family. But you and Zelda, you and my daughter will go into the forest alone to find the Master Sword. Is that understood? Yes, King, it's very understood. Zelda, my daughter, do you understand? Yes, Father. Good. We will set out in an hour. Be prepared. All of them nod and Zelda started to walk off, Izuku following behind her. Monoma followed to try to talk to Zelda, but Izuku gave him "Stay the fuck away" look to him. Monoma stands back and let both of them go away. When they arrive to Zelda's room so she can pack, she says to him, "Can you please stay outside? I have to pack something that I think I need." He nods and stays in front of the room. After 20 minutes, she come out with some stuff in a bag. "Can you hold this for me? It's kind of for you, but I wanted to give it afterwards." He nods and takes the bag, sitting around his, good shoulder, right shoulder and down to the left side. After an hour pass, they go to the Korak Forest. After some few moments of deliberation, the king announces that Zelda and the new hero of Hyrule will go into the forest and find the Master Sword. Both Zelda and Monoma nods and goes in front. But one thing they don't know, that Zelda has something that Izuku gave her. All of them stood there, waiting for Zelda and Monoma to come back, the new hero of Hyrule, or a failure, or something happened. After 10 minutes, Izuku heard a faint scream. He noticed it and walks forward to the king. "I think there's something wrong in there. I think I heard someone scream." "Are you certain about this, young man?" "Yes, Then Izuku heard the scream, but little more louder, and the king noticed as well. Izuku recognized that scream and immediately rushes in. Monoma's father says that he needs to be stopped. Or stop Izuku. But the guards didn't catch him at all, before Izuku always slipped into the forest. Was already in the Korak Forest. If I'm correct, it's called the Korak Forest. Izuku runs in to look around, seeing if he get lost, but he felt he was going the right way. When he run around a tree, he sees Zelda and Monoma far apart. Zelda has drawn a knife, and Monoma bled a little bit from his hand. Well, the Triforce was. "You little bitch! Just give us the goddamn Triforce!" "No, it doesn't belong to you. Why the hell do you want it? Because then the Monoma family will get more powerful. That is why we came here. And that's before he could speak any further, a sword was at his neck. He turned around to see Yusugu standing behind him. You should better fucking run before I cut your neck. Monoma gets shocked and walks away a little. Run before I fucking cut your arms off. Monoma runs off after that. Isugu sheaves his sword and runs over to Zelda, seeing if she's alright. Luckily, she only had a torn fabric on her sleeve. Well, some of her fabric on her sleeve was torn off. Thank God you're alright. Are you feeling good? Are you alright? Are you... Yes, I'm fine. Luckily, I pulled the knife out before he could do anything. That's good. But I don't know where to go. Give me a sec. So, you're telling me my knight in shining armor, the best one-handed swordsman in Hyrule right now, don't know where he should go? Look, I was in a panic when I heard you scream. Of course you did. You're still my knight in shining armor. Well, green jacket armor. Just come on. Isugu went down and held a hand to Zelda. Sorry. She laughed a little and took it and was held up to her feet. She sat down if that was not clear. Both of them started to walk. Well, what they thought was the exit. But after 2 hours, they know, they're definitely lost. Isugu starts to think that they probably went deeper by accident. Should we find something to see over the trees? No, that will just be rude. Yeah, you're kind of right. But what is that? Isugu looked at the direction, and Zelda looked the same way. And she saw the same thing. A green little figure was there with a leaf for a mask, walking toward a tree and then disappeared. Alright, that was weird. What the hell was that? Well, I think that was a Korok. Wait, you mean those little guys from the journal of your ancestor? Yeah, yes. But there's also... What? Is there something on my face? Isugu hears chak 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 behind him. Turning around, he sees a bigger Korok, taller than even him, with a little leaf on his nose and 2 maracas, I think it's called maracas, in his hands. Oh God, what does he even... Oh God, I forgot his name. No! Um, you know, the big guy from I don't know if he was in the Breath of the Wild, but I hope so. I'm talking about that big ass Korok. I really need to read names in Tears of the Kingdom. The big Maraca Korok you see, that guy. Standing before them, just he's staring down at them. Then both of them hear, "Yes! Yes, someone sees me again!" This is Zelda. Where did he come from? I think he's been here for a while. Yes, I have! I've been trying to get your attention all this time. Cha cha, the chicka chicka cha. I don't know what to do here. I forgot how he even speaks. That is okay. So, do you know the exit from the Korok Forest? You want to exit? But you're the hero and you have the Triforce, right? That's why you come so far. If you wouldn't, after an hour you'd be kicked out of the forest. Chicka chicka cha. Yeah, but you can see that Izuku points at his arm that's not there. Doesn't matter. Come on, follow me to the sword. Chicka chicka taco. It didn't hear me. Did it hear me or did it just ignore me? I think it heard you, but ignored it. Well, it's the only guide we have. Izuku and Zelda started to follow him. They can see that when they go a little bit further, around 5 minutes, the fog starts to disappear a little by little by little before they see grass again. Well, clearly, with the sun shining on the Master Sword, sitting at the pedal, with its sitting at the pedal of the forest. Izuku looked at it and felt this pull towards the sword. When he walked forward to it, when he almost walked forward, he stopped himself and thought he wasn't worthy. Izuku turned to the big Korok and said, "But I don't have an arm. I can't pull the sword, right?" Well, I don't know. You're the first one. Huh. Lucky me. Zelda looked at Izuku when he spotted the did I think of it? Sorry, it's been a while since I recorded this last. Zelda looked at the gift and cheered up. Of course you can. You still got my gift. Huh? Well, I wanted to help you get back your arm, remember? I finally built it. You built it? Yeah, but I wanted you after the ceremony when it failed. I wanted us to go to a place in the castle where you can lay down and so we can put it on with some help from doctors. But right now, I think we must do this here and now. Are you sure this is gonna be alright? Yeah, I'm sure. Just pull your jacket off and your shirt. And give me the gift I gave you. Isugu looked at her, but did as he was told. He took the gift off. Give me a second. Isugu took his shirt and jacket off. No, jacket and shirt off. He laid it down on the ground, well, the jacket, but handed the shirt to Zelda and lay down. Zelda could see his upper body. His arm and his chest was muscle, but his scar looked like something just sliced through it and didn't leave a good scar. It looked smooth but rough at the same time. Zelda blushed a little for seeing this, but continued on as she would. This is gonna hurt a lot. That's why I wanted to do this after and at the castle. This Zelda pulled out a round disc with a claw. Will attach itself to your stump at your shoulder, climbing down and integrating it to your nervous system. You won't feel pain if the arm gets destroyed, but you can feel touch. The arm will be bulky because it's new that I have made, but I will make a smoother arm for you. But when this happens, you feel a lot of pain and a little burning because it has to be, well, at your arm. Just do you must. Isugu gets ready when Zelda puts this disc next to his stump. The claw immediately, when it's placed on it, 5 seconds go by and the claws came out. Immediately going and pushing itself into Isugu's arm. Isugu felt the pain and damn that hurt. And it hurt a lot. He could feel the pain and tried to hold in the screams, but Zelda knows that it hurts. It's gonna hurt as hell. So she immediately went on to the other side and held Isugu's hand for comfortability. Isugu wanted to scream but didn't, wanted to keep it in. So he held it for around half an hour, 30 minutes, before the pain simmered down. Then the disc made some armor on the shoulder. So it's protecting the claws that's holding it together. But the claws has spread out inside of Deku's skin to hold it down on the shoulder and simulated nerves, brain signals, and everything. But at that point, Isugu passed out for a little while. Zelda brought out the bag with the metallic, with some parts. She first pulled out the sword of a shoulder, a ball with the biceps. And I don't know the specific names of each thing, by the way. I know the biceps, the forearm, the wrist, and the hands and fingers. I don't know much medical knowledge, but it's the. I'm just gonna show this 3, 2, 1, so I know where to. It's this part right here. If I'm gonna show this, that Zelda put out first with a ball that she sets in to the disc that's sitting right here on his arm. The ball clicks in and was surrounded by a little bit of armor. Then the arm was clicked on, also being armored up. Armor was built around it. She pulled out this part of the arm with the elbow joint and the forearm to be clicked on. The armor also went over there. By the way, Sugu's arm from his normal arm is a little bit bigger, but still felt like a normal arm. Zelda puts the hand on with the finger intact. After 5 minutes, Isugu woke up, looking up to the sky and seeing then Zelda's face was in his view. Great, you're awake. It went well, and good you're not dead. It's good that you're not dead. Yeah, but I feel like it hurts, like I have an arm again. After a few seconds, Isugu realized that he has his left arm on his forehead and over his eyes. Like he's trying to get something out of his eye. When Isugu realized this, he looked at it. And yes, it was metal. He sat up from his coat where you can see at the shoulder part of the coat there is a lot of blood, but not a lot to be shown. Give me a second. I just found out that my mouse didn't show up when I tried to record it, so I'm sorry, but you must understand where it's coming from. When Deku stood up, he looked at his arm and started moving it, bending his fingers, his arm, moving his shoulders, just feeling everything in that arm. He was shocked when Zelda puts her hands on his bicep, where it should be, and Deku could feel that. It's working. It's actually working. I feel everything again. Isugu immediately turns around and picked up Zelda in a hug and spun her around, fanging her so many times. Zelda laughed at this and just told him to put me down. Isugu did, but still smiled at her. Thank you so much. I just wanted. He just hugged her at that point, just tight as possible, without her breaking apart. Zelda just hugged back, being happy for him. Then both of them turned to the Master Sword, Isugu getting his shirt from Zelda, and Isugu picking up his coat. Didn't mind the blood because fuck it, show that I got my arm back. Isugu walks forward to the sword, looking at it, seeing the magnificent blade, but also sees some markings on it. Seeing that the true story of the Master Sword being broken was also true. But seeing it, he wondered how this magnificent blade could survive all of that, but still radiating power. Isugu puts his hands on it, grabbing the hilt, and start pulling the sword out, little by little by little, before a click was heard, and a cluck before the sword was released from the pedestal. Isugu turned the blade up to look at it, looking at a blue shine in it. He was fascinated, really fascinated by the blade. He turned around to Zelda and walked towards her. She, seeing the blade, was also looking at it when they heard a deeper voice. Both of them turned to see the deku tree. Spoke. Oh, the hero spirit has returned to the forest, with the princess by his side. It's been a long time since someone pulled the sword. But you are a special case. The sword pulled from one of your hands. The metal one never helped. You could have wielded the sword without your left hand, but you feel confident now. Confident. I implore you. Just because you have both of your hands doesn't mean you need to learn new skills. But the princess, much has changed in your personality. From the last time a goddess, the princess with the goddess blood has come through the forest. You are special in your own way. But you must not fret. Your challenges are not over. Now, I must rest. A long day it has. Follow back. You will leave the forest. Goodbye. After that, the deku tree went silent. It didn't, speak much, but they didn't mind. Isugu looked around to have something to hold the Master Sword when he sees a scabbard on a pedestal near it. He went over and took it off the pedestal. The pedestal that has the sheath of the Master Sword. Isugu turned to Zelda and she looked at him with a huge smile. He smiled back and he sheathed the sword, putting it around his shoulder, and started walking with Zelda by his side out of the forest. After 15 minutes, they see the mist started to spread, little by little, before they see the exit of the forest. But something didn't feel right. The guards was in front of the king, and the fake hero of Hyrule was standing behind him, with a smirk on his face. But when he looked at the king, both of them knew something happened. When the king spoke, that was confirmed. Both of you, stand where you are. Both of them were shocked at this. The king never spoke in that tone to them. So they were like, yeah, something's not right here. Both of them stood still, looking at the king. Both of you must come with me. You have done a lot today. Both of you need to give the Triforce to the true holder of it. When they look at Monoma, he sees his mouth moving, and immediately knew he has done something. Both of them stood ready for anything that he will say. Monoma, when they see Monoma speak, the king spoke. Guards, take them to the castle. And get the boy's sword. And get the master sword from the boy, so the real hero of Hyrule will have it. The men looked at each other because they knew for a fact the king will never speak Isuzu as boy. He did it at first, but everyone knew it, from the high guards to the low guards, that he spoke as Isuzu as sort of son, named for a son. He spoke with kindness to his children, to his child and Isuzu. When Isuzu looked around to find any way to get out of here, immediately to go to the castle to warn the queen, because she was not there, by the way, Monoma didn't see it. I said, get the boy and take the princess to the castle. Immediately, Isuzu knows a path and draws, the Master Sword. Zelda got scared at this. Isuzu, you're not gonna hurt the guards, are you? No. We're gonna go to the castle and warn the queen that the king is getting manipulated. Isuzu was pissed. When the guards tried to move towards them to just calm them down so they could go to the castle, Isuzu pushed them away immediately with the sword. Immediately they was pushed away by the sword that Isuzu was holding in his left arm. And everyone saw that and it's like, what the fuck? Isuzu doesn't have a left arm. Immediately Isuzu sheathed the sword and immediately picked up Zelda, running through the guards that was there. When he saw Monoma try to reach out to grab the sword, he just ducked and just turned around from the place where the king was and tried and pushed him away, seeing that the king reacted this time different. Isuzu ran and he noticed that the king got control of himself. After a second, the king went down to his stiff form again, knowing that he was under control. Seeing that Monoma has his hand in his pocket, he noticed that Monoma was kind of angry. So he knew he has a fucking quirk. So he can't be the hero. Izuku were running when the guards at the bottom saw them. When the guards heard, "Stop both of them! Don't let them go through the pass!" The guards looked shocked but did as was ordered, not knowing what happened. Izuku stopped near a hole near the road to the Korok forest. He backed off from both of the guards and the king. He looked to side, pulling out the Master Sword to defend Zelda and him, pushing Zelda behind him. "Both of you! Guards, arrest them! Guards, capture them and bring them to the castle. So the real hero of Hyrule will get his reward. The Master Sword, the Triforce, and my daughter." This immediately sent red flags everywhere, but they can't do anything. It's still the king. Izuku backed to the hole when the guards tried. But when the king said, "Let Monoma take his sword," Izuku knows that something's gonna go wrong. Monoma came forward and tried to take the sword when Izuku pushed him away from himself. "Stay the hell away from me. And Zelda, you creep. You hurt the king, didn't you?" "I did. But it seems like you have the control over him, right? Just a little hit and he gets out of the control. Like you have a quirk." Monoma immediately went forward to try to grab the Master Sword, but Izuku backed up. But he lost footing when he was near the edge. Izuku was near the edge with Zelda on his side when he lost his footing when Monoma came close with little more speed than usual. Izuku slipped on the edge and fell. Immediately felt that he was falling. Zelda was grabbed by Monoma, but immediately she hits him and tried to grab after Izuku, getting his right hand. Izuku has the sword in his left hand, by the way. Grabbing the right hand, but gets pulled with him. The last thing they saw was the king getting out of the control before they fell down. Both of them could feel like they fell for around 2 minutes before they see an opening at the bottom. Zelda screamed as high as she could, Your arm can be like a gravel. Shoot at a wall or anything that can hold us and send us down. The rope doesn't have much, but we can survive." Izuku did when they went to the edge of the bottom, and the whole place was big. Izuku shot his hand. Didn't know how, but he shot it, and it grabbed the ceiling, where they fell, and lowered them little by little, until there wasn't more, and Izuku let go, them falling for a little more, but landed on the ground, mostly hurt, but safe. When both of them looked around, they noticed, yeah, this is fucking weird. Yeah, this place is weird. When they look, they spotted trees from the Korak forest. Both of them looked, but it was dark. Isugu pulled out a glow stick and hit it, lighting it a little bit up around them. What is this place? I've never heard of it. No one was told to get near the holes. Most of them are blocked up. I think we're in the deep under the hyrule. Maybe under the Korak forest. Wait, under it? Zelda, are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. I've read the story about the adventures of my ancestor. He was tasked to go down here when the islands appeared above us. He went down here to find out what it was. When he found that the Demon King's power was most potent down here. But it seems that over these... Did I say 3,000 years? I think I did. Over 3,000 years, it seems that the darkness has, well, gone away a little, but when Isugu punched it a little further, they see this red-black liquid kind of thing stuck to the forest ground. But it seems it still remains. Both of them looked around, turning each way they could to find an exit. But the only exit they could find was up. Both of them looked around again to find where they could go when Zelda finally spots an orange glow. We can go over there. Isugu looked at it and spotted the same glow. Both of them walks forward. They looked at it, and it was this seed sort of thing. Orange seed with roots growing in it and outside of it, going up through the ground. Have you heard of this? Yes, it's a light root, I think it's called. Wait, did I forget the name already? I'll get the right name. But I'll call them light root because it makes sense. It's a light root. It takes power from the surface. And it can glow. It takes light from temples and make it glow on the ground, leading the way from well, you know. Both of them walk towards it and into the middle. When they look up, they see this green circle there with a hand on it. Isugu looks at it and felt like putting his arm up. He did it as his thought and touched the green circle, and it lights up, and it disappeared. The green light went into the orange circle. After a few minutes, the root started to light. Light came out of it and around them, blinding them for a moment. When they opened their eyes, plants was alive, but light was there. And this is where I'm gonna end the episode. Yes, I did say that it... No, I didn't say that. Yeah, so the rest of the story from now on is gonna be in the dark, deep cavern. I'm gonna really remember the names. Well, it's gonna be the deep under map from Tears of the Kingdom because I really wanted to be there. Right there. Sorry. And I wanted to make interesting stories about it and the Sornaya technology and things. So, yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's been Blue Mask, and I have been playing a lot of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm gonna make a fan fiction because there's not a lot of them, and I'm kind of pissed about that. But enjoy. See you later, my lovely subscribers.